Hey there, Ali here, and welcome back to another video of useless facts about Oddworld. This is a series of videos where I go through some facts about Oddworld that is useless. To start off, Oddworld and Crack has given me this nice long list of some facts, although I'm not gonna go through all of them since most of them are some facts that people are already aware of, or something that I have covered up separately in the past. So I'm gonna pick up some of those facts that are worth it to talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. For this, I want to start with talking about Abe's hand scar. In Abe's Odyssey, when he receives his hand scar from Big Face for the first time, you can see him on his hands naturally, and afterwards you can still see him having his hand scars on his head, though it is a little bit hard to see it since the top of his hand is not clearly visible afterwards, but they are still there. But in Abe's Exodus, this is here where things is getting a little bit weird. At the opening of Abe's Exodus, you can see that Abe has his hand scar, but in the scene afterwards, his hand scar is gone. And that's not all. If you take a further look, in this scene here, Abe and Big Face has 4 fingers, but in the next scene, they have 3 fingers. This goes to show that this scene was taken directly from Abe's Odyssey, and not entirely recreated for the sake of Abe's Exodus. Anyway, back to the hand scar topic. Throughout the entirety of Abe's Exodus, his hand scars are nowhere to be seen, even though he canonically has received his hand scars. The same thing can also be said for his chest scar when he received it for the first time, as it kinda gets the same treatment as his hand scar, because after he received his chest scar, he is not clearly shown up in any cutscenes, or he's not shown clearly on camera. However, in the bad ending, his chest scar is seen naturally, but in the good ending, his chest scar is gone. That's kinda weird. Okay, should have been the opposite. If it was that way. But in Munch's Odyssey, his hand scars and his chest scars are shown from the beginning to the end, even in-game as well. There's also a similar situation like this in Oddworld Soulstorm. When he first wears the bee amulet on his neck, his bee amulet is not seen in-game. Although you would think to yourself, why of course not, it will be shown in-game, because that's in-game is different from cutscene. Although what if I tell you that this was not really the case in Oddworld New and Tasty? You see, before Abe receives his hand scars in New and Tasty, his hand scars cannot be seen in-game for obvious reason, but after Abe receives his hand scars, they can actually be seen in-game as well, which is a nice little attention to detail. So I was really wondering why Soulstorm never received that same kind of treatment as New and Tasty did. Probably because they were developed by a different studio. And ironically enough, the same thing can also be said when Abe receives his chest scar in Oddworld Soulstorm, because even after that, in-game, his chest scars cannot be seen. But in every cutscene, his chest scars are shown, at least. Anyway, moving on to the next fact, let me ask you a quick question. How many Mudokons did Abe canonically save in Abe's Exodus? If your answer was 300, well, you're not wrong, cause that's how many Abe did save. Or did he? Because in the second cutscene, when that blind Mudokon accidentally fell down and died, literally. So the real question is, did he actually save 300 or 299? Because the strangest thing is, this Mudokon does not affect the casualties counter at all. Here you can see I have a footage of the status board before the cutscene and after the cutscene. And you can see that the casualties counter has stayed 0. So the real question is, who is this blind Mudokon exactly, and where did he come from? Or even a better question, were there actually 300 or 301 Mudokons? Or a better question, did Abe save 299 or 300 Mudokons? Well, this one is a bit of a mystery. Up next is, I was also told by Oddworld and Crack that the Polish subtitle for Stranger's Wrath is a bit weird, especially one at the very end of Stranger's Wrath. When the old Steve is asking, is the water free? In the Polish subtitles, he says, "The woda jest darmowa," which directly translates to, is the water free? Yeah. However, the word darmowa means free, but not in the way you would expect, because darmowa means more like when something is free of charge, like this items is free and you don't have to pay for anything, something like that, and not like I'm free in that way. I guess the Polish translators took this literally. Moving on, my friend Mortenus came to me personally on Discord and showed me this. In Ape's Odyssey, when the Paramites climbed out from their cobweb, their animation looked something like this. But in Ape's Exodus, their animation is completely different, where their entire body is face downward. I assume this was probably done to save up some space, since this is the exact same animation they do when they climb down or up from cobweb, especially when you possess them by yourself. Up next is, I'm sure many of you know, the ledge trick, where you are able to clip yourself through any levers. This can also be done the opposite way, where if you try to prevent Abe from climbing upwards, and then when he turns around, he automatically jumps upward. However, this trick is completely useless because he's not able to get onto anything. But did you know that when Ape does this, he actually jumps a few pixels higher than he usually does? Normally, here Ape is jumping that high, but when you do the ledge trick, he actually jumps that high. Again, this is also very useless because there's not really anywhere in the game where you could really use this. Did you also know that you can do the exact same trick on Elam? If you face on the opposite direction and press up, Abe automatically turns around and hop on Elam. If you do that trick the exact same way as done in a ledge and then turns around, Abe will actually do the hopping on an Elam animation, and then he immediately teleports onto Elam. If you try to do this and then moving on to the next layer, Abe will still perform the glitch and he will teleport to Elam, but the camera will not follow Abe at all. Not until he himself shows up on the screen, and then the camera will follow him. If you did the glitch and then turn around immediately the moment when Elam scratches himself, the glitch will not happen. So Elam literally cancels the glitch for you when he scratches himself. Last thing to talk about this glitch here, if you try to do the exact same thing where you do the glitch, go to the next layer, and then let Abe teleport back to Elam, and then you try to reach a part where there's a cinematic transition, this is literally what happened. the camera will actually follow Abe, but then his position will then be reset at the beginning and he loses collision and falls down. Yeah, literally. I tried the exact same thing here in Scripania and the result was exactly the same. So you can't really reach any doors that transition to the next place with this glitch. Abe literally loses collision, like the game literally gets confused. Last fact for today. In Oddworld New and Tasty, when you have to do the sleek game speak, especially if you wanna make Sleek say BS, you have to hold the shoulder button and the up button. And when you want him to say Smo BS, you have to hold the shoulder button and down button. But did you also know that the Sleek in the speaker is doing the exact same thing? When the Sleek in the speaker says BS, the sound wave goes upward. And when he says Smo BS, the sound wave goes downwards. That's such a nice attention to detail. Wow, like really when I start to dig deeper into the works of New and Tasty, you really gotta appreciate the attention to detail that was done in this game. Anyway, that was all I had for today. Yeah, I know this one is shorter than the previous one, but I didn't receive a lot of facts from you, nor could I really find that many by myself. But if you do have something that you really want to show me or something interesting, you can comment them down below. Or if you have something you want to show to me in the form of an image or a video, the best place is on my Twitter account where you can tag me there. So that was all for today. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.